Hello friends, welcome to a new video. In today's session, I wish to take your attention to the movie review of Ponniyin Selvan. Many of you may have seen it and many of you may have compared it with Bahubali. Some of you may be elated, some of you may be a bit disappointed also. So first of all, I will tell you about the background of this movie, the things that I found positive and the historical perspective and things that could have been improved a bit. Actually, the Ponniyin Selvan literally means son of river Ponni, that's the Kaveri river. Kaveri Delta is where the Chola Empire is. And this was a novel that was there in 1950 to 55 and it was there in a magazine for around 5 years. So it's a long story made into a two parts, and what we have got released in the theatre is Ponniyin Selvan part 1. So there was a very exemplary star cast was there. There was Vikram, Jayam Ravi, Karthi, Trisha, Aishwarya Rai, and Prakash Raj. So, and it was directed by the ace director Mani Ratnam itself. So, one important thing that I wish to say is this is actually depicting the evolution of the later cholas. But in a way, what they have actually portrayed there is a mix of the earlier cholas and later cholas. See, for example, like the character that is played by Vikram, Karikala Cholan. Karikala Cholan doesn't come under the great later cholas. The great later cholas, by which I mean, is what it was from the 9th, 10th, 11th centuries. That is the time when Chola Empire became a very huge power, and you could actually see them taking over entire Southeast Asia. They had one of the best medieval navies of that time. And the Coromandel coast, if you see the eastern coast, Coromandel coast is a disambiguated version of Cholamandalam. The Bay of Bengal was literally known as the Chola Lake. Even now also you see the amount of Tamil diaspora in and around these regions, whether it's in Myanmar or in places like Malaysia and Singapore. So that Tamil culture has its significance in this Chola golden age. Right? Even in their, you can say the LTT, they adopted this flag of tiger from where? And Rajaraja Cholan was always a kind of an inspiration for people like Velupilla Prabhakaran. So, not going to any of those, the first positive thing I found about the movie is they have actually portrayed, especially when it comes to the dressing sense and all. I want to compare it with a movie like Marekar, where you see their dressing sense was more or less like what happened in a Pirates of Caribbean, or somebody would they would dress like something that is in the temperate nations. But here, see, the women are they dress, even men are at the dressing. It's not like they're covering their entire body from tip to toe. They dress in a way people in the tropical region do dress. So that is one thing I would find a little bit better. And things other than that is like they have started with Karikala Cholan. They have and a few other feudatories who wants to run over the kingdom, and they have actually portrayed like Arunmozhivarman also. Right, but the problem is like during the later Chola time, when the Chola Empire again got into prominence, there were a lot of others like Vijayalaya Choleshwara or the Parantaka Chola. Parantaka Chola is actually known by the name Madurai Konda, or the conqueror of Madurais. And in 921 AD, there is a Uttaramerur inscriptions of Parantaka Chola, from which we get a lot of information about the Chola bureaucracy and all. But he is literally untouched in the movie, and then directly jumped to Arunmozhivarman. Arunmozhivarman is what that is a character that is played by Jayam Ravi, is actually that of this Rajaraja Chola. So I am expecting a more of a Jayam Ravi focused movie in Ponniyin Selvan Part 2. And when it comes to the negatives, I would say one I will particularly say is the way the Pandyas are portrayed, because Pandyas were also a contemporaries of the great Cholas. They were in Tamil literature, they were known as the Moovendar. Right, in Sangam literature, Mu means writes 3. So basically you have the Cheras, Cholas and Pandyas. But the Pandyas, they depicted in such a way that they were some kind of aboriginal tribes who are into hunting, gathering, or something like stealing kind of tribes, especially the Marabar tribes. Why I wish to portray point out to you is, just see the way Pandyans were portrayed in the movie. They used to say like give their allegiance to the goddess Kotrave, and saying like we will murder Arunmozhivarman or the Cholas. And so if you look into the Sangam literature, this Kotrave is actually a goddess that were worshipped by the Maravars. Maravars by nature, their profession itself is robbing. Even today also, there are certain villages in and around Tamil Nadu. There are robber kind of villages are still there in areas of Salem, Madurai, and all Shivaganga. So that was the area. That was the area where the Pandyans had their stronghold. That could be the reason why in this movie the Pandyan portrayal is actually linked to the Maravar tribes and Kottravai. But in reality, that is far-fetched because Pandyans were also a kingdom like the Cholas at that time, but not as powerful as Cholas. So portraying them like like robbing tribes is, I would say, too much far-fetched. So that is something about the negatives of the movie. But I will say that if anybody who would have expected a Bahubali kind of a simple story, revenge story with too much of mass scenes, they would have got disappointed in this movie. At the same time, I cannot say that this movie is exactly portraying history or it is showing justice to the history, because this is also a historical fiction that they have done. But some fiction that is actually somewhat close to reality rather than the far-fetched Bahubali. And especially I would say certain characters also, like the way in which the Shaivite traditions or tendencies are shown in it is good. And the character, if you see, that is played by Jairam, that Alvar Nambi. Alvars were actually the Vaishnavite saints. So Vaishnavite saints were there, it was there, but they were actually in a kind of a declining trend during the Chola time, because the Alvar Nayanar Vaishnavite Tamil Bhakti was more in the Pallava time, that were the previous time of the Pallavas, so that was preceding the Cholas. And also, especially the battle that was fought between the Rashtrakutas and Cholas, that were mostly during the later 900-950, during that time, is actually portrayed here. So in some way they have actually shown a kind of a historical reality, and at the other time they have skipped a few historical characters and like meshed it with the director like brilliance as well. So that is about this movie. So overall, I would say I would give 3 out of 5 for this movie. Direction wise, it's better, but at the same time, historically, it could have been a bit more accurate. And I would actually say the way the Pandyans were portrayed in it was never in a way, it doesn't sound that good because it was away from reality in many sense. But if you would say there were movies like this Marakar or whether the movies like Bahubali, this is in a way that is much more closer to reality than any of those fairy tale kind of movies where there is a huge influence of Western movies on other things. But here I would say it is a little bit more better. So thank you for listening to me. I wish that you have a nice time watching the movie. Stay tuned. Bye. Take care.